Circular saws. What are they? What are all the pieces? How do they work? What do you do with it? How do you not chop off a finger? We're going to talk about all these things and more. I am Alex Stovall. This is Renovation University. This is part of an ongoing series of about power tools. Let's get going. Circular saws come in all different shapes and sizes and just about any brand you can possibly imagine. This is a battery-powered circular saw. It's a little bit smaller and a little bit longer, but they're all pretty much the same in how they operate and what they do. If you ever need to change the blade, you can use this button here. It holds the blade in place while you use a wrench and loosen that guy and put a new one on there. You can adjust the depth with this little handle right there, and you can change the depth there. If you want to change the bevel, give yourself a nice little angled cut. It goes like that. This little guy right here. It looks slightly different from my other saw, which I will show you, but it's almost identical. You do have a little safety switch right here. You have to push that down for the trigger to work. Without that, it will not do anything. This next saw does not have that, but everything else is almost exactly the same. This is a corded circular saw, 7¼ inch blade. This is very typical, standard, what you would see a lot of. Now, almost identical, like I said, as far as how everything functions. You do have, this is your button here to hold the blade, lock the blade in place so that you can change the blade. I did not talk about the blade guard on the other one. They're spring-loaded on all of these saws, and so when you are running it through a board, it will hit and it will just pull back automatically. You don't have to do anything. You could pull this back to do a dive cut. It's a little bit tricky. First time using a saw, don't try that one. It's going to be challenging. Again, you've got your little adjustment for your bevel if you want to lean this guy over and cut at an angle, and then you also have your adjustment here for your depth so that you can set that the way you want it and make sure you're doing it just how you need it. There is no safety for the trigger. It just works, and again, you've got that secondary handle to help hold it, keep it nice and straight and clean. When and where to use a circular saw. The most common use for a circular saw, by contractors at least, is cutting 2x4s for framing work. You're going to use it to cut all your 2x4s, your 2x6s, whatever framing wood you're using. It's very common. Just zip it real quick, use it for that. You're also going to be using it for paneling and for plywood to some degree. Now, it's not going to give you a nice, perfect straight cut like a table saw will, but if you get used to it, you get the feel for it, you can do some pretty nice cuts. And then there's also different guides and track saws and things that you can attach to it to help give you a really nice, pretty straight cut on some plywood, on some type of paneling that you want to install. You can also use it to cut concrete. You can use a circular saw to cut any type of brick or masonry. You can even use it for a countertop or a tile, potentially, depending on the application and what you're doing with it. And I'll go ahead and show you some of those blades and the differences between them. Don't forget, please like, subscribe. We're going to be putting out a lot more of these videos. I don't want you to miss any of it. We've also got some free giveaways. You can even book a call with us, or you can purchase our tool course, which will be coming out shortly. All right, now we're going to talk a wood cutting blade. See this one? The teeth are spaced further out, so there's fewer teeth on this blade. This is for framing. It's going to give you a rough cut with fewer teeth. This blade here has more teeth, and that will give you a cleaner cut. So you're going to want to use something like this with more teeth on some nice finished plywood or paneling, something to that effect. Fewer teeth, framing blade, rough cut. It's not going to be as clean and as pretty. Now this blade right here is actually a diamond tipped blade. This is good for cutting concrete, for masonry, for brick, for some CMU block. I actually use this blade a lot to cut hardy backer, which is a backer board that you can put up in your shower and install tile on top of. So I use this blade a lot for that. Another one that is similar, also diamond tipped, but this is for tile. or like a quartz countertop. So just get a little bit of water, keep it wet, and this will take care of it nice and easily for you. Now, like I said, one of the main things that you're probably going to be using a circular saw for is to cut lumber. So this is a 2x4. Let's pretend we're doing some framing work. Maybe you put it up on two sawhorses, and so it's sitting up like this, and you're running your saw in between the two. As you cut it, this board is going to fold in on itself, and it's going to bind up the blade, and it's going to be ugly, a pain in the butt. You don't want to do that. The best way to do it is to have some overhang and hold it, support it a little bit, or hopefully it's heavy enough here where you don't have to support it, so that when you cut it, it just simply falls right down. That's the best way to do it. If you have to hold it, you have to be very careful. You do not want your fingers anywhere close to where this blade is running. Trust me, I know from experience, it can hurt. Now granted, I did not do this with a circular saw, but let's be safe. Keep all of our fingers. So the idea, you just squeeze the little safety trigger, get this guy going. It's not that difficult. You do want to typically have some sort of a line that you're following. That way it gives you an idea how to keep it nice and straight. Now the other thing that I would point out, you do have some little lines here, a guide to help tell you where the blade is going to line up. And when you're doing it, you want to pay attention to which side of the blade your finished edge is. So just line it up properly. If you're cutting this board and it's 30 inches here, you want that 30-inch mark to line up right here at this side of this blade. If you do it on the other side, you're going to be an 1/8 inch short, the thickness of the blade, 1/8 inch. When you're cutting, you want to get the blade spinning before you actually hit the wood to start cutting it. If you're sitting on the wood and try it, it won't work. So you have to get it spinning first. Also notice there's a lot of sawdust flying around. Wearing some sort of glasses is a good idea. Keep that crap out of your eyes. Now the other thing you may have noticed, I let the saw sit flat on this, on top of the board. It helps give me my nice straight cut. So you always kind of set it, make sure it's lined up, get that blade going, and then nice and smooth and easy. And as you finish that cut, just try to hold this piece still and steady. That way it doesn't end up falling and maybe it chips and breaks at the end when you're finished cutting. Maybe something falls on your toe. Just try to hold it, keep it nice and steady until you're done finishing with the cut. Another thing you may have noticed is when it was done, it just sprang back. So I can set that saw down and I'm done. I'm good to go. Now, go out, get your 2x4s, get your plywood, try out your saw. Be safe, take your time. You need to get the feel for it. It's not something that you're just going to be good at the first time, but you can do it. Let's go cut some stuff. So let's say we're going to be cutting some plywood. As you can see, you probably can't see very well, but I've got a couple lines here, so I can use those to guide myself. And you can either use this little guide right here on the front of the saw, or just look down the side at the blade. And like I said, I want this side of the blade to line up with this line, so that 1/8 inch will be over here and we'll still have the same dimension that we actually need. So you've got it overhanging, you're not going to end up tearing up the table doing it. Let's go ahead and run this through real quick. notice this is a little bit rough. This is a framing blade, so it's not real nice and smooth, but gives you a good idea what that looks like, how it feels. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Get down in the comments, let me know what tools you want to see next. This is part of a power tool series. We're going to go through, we're going to show you how to use all these different things. We've even put together a whole course. If you're interested in that, that's going to be coming out shortly. A nice big power tool course for DIY homeowners. You know you guys need it.